Hey, you're watching BMI's Know Them Now series with MISSIO.
Wow. I'll go with wow.
Yeah.
Wow!
Eclectic.
Creative.
Yeah, I say eclectic because every song's different. Everything sounds kind of kitschy.
Yeah.
It is a little eclectic. It is...
There's an
Wow.
oddness to it. Yeah, wow is good. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I say creative because I think that it's important to us to create a space that feels unique for the song to lay in. And it's the one thing that is always in a MISSIO song is it's usually, wow, that's pretty creative. I've never heard a song just like that. I think that's something that just comes through naturally. We gravitate towards the stuff that's not normal, maybe, and so creativity comes through our songs.
Really and abstract.
Yeah.
Looking back, 2017 feels like a decade ago.
It feels like forever,
It feels so long ago. We were still so excited to be growing as a band that I think we were just eyes wide open, just blown away. We were at LALALAA.
Yeah.
'Cause you hear so many bands play LALALAA, and you're finally there, and you're just like, this doesn't feel real.
Yeah, I remember feeling like that it was one of our earlier festivals that we had played, and I was just like, man, is anyone going to be there? Is anyone going to be at our show? I mean, there's a lot of good bands playing, you know? And then I was like kind of concerned about that, and then when we got there, and it was I think it was like it was like under all of these trees out there, and
Looked like
it was very long. Like it wasn't like a super wide field to stand in. It was a bit like narrow but very long, and the people just went, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And it was exciting. That's one of my most vivid stage memories, honestly. Festival memories, just given how early that was in the process for us.
Well, we were still working out performance anxiety. I still had a lot of anxiety, and so trying to feel out as a front man, what do I do? Like, how do I interact? How do I engage? We're learning all that stuff too.
Man, like,
so
just
you
really
go
not
out,
ready for that.
Yeah, it's like being pushed into the deep end of the pool, and you're like, all right, I hope this works.
To answer the how have you grown since, that is really what you were saying, is that we've played so many hundreds of more shows since then, and I think there's just a confidence that we have in all of the unit of the live show and what's going to happen, and I think we're excited to share that moment with people and continue to build moments and maybe a little more in control of helping to shape that moment, which is why that moment stands out as being so. We felt so lucky to have that moment, you know.
Yep. Our creative process changes per song, for sure. A lot of times we'll come in feeling an emotion, and then we'll tend to write based on how we're feeling. Sometimes the lyrics come first, sometimes the music comes first, sometimes a hip-hop hook will come first.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes so drastically per song.
I think typically, you know, there is a lot of times that I think MISSIO songs are built around the first thing that has a vibe.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a key part, it's never just going to be like a kick drum. It's like, what is this drum?
Unless the kick drum's doing something.
Yeah. But it's true. But it could be just the kick drum. But yeah, it's like, what is the groove doing to me? Does it make me feel something? And like, until there's like that thing, it's all just us searching and letting melodies come through, letting scrolling tones, messing with synthesizers, like whatever.
Well, we know too, because we always go, we feel it. Yeah. We know it.
It actually sometimes happens in the middle of writing the song, and you're like, whoa, that's a cool song that's a cool tone for another song. Mm-hmm. That had we been starting a song and we pulled that thing up, that would have been the road.
Yeah. A lot of times I'll do preset 19. It's like save future notes and tones, because we do come back to this quite a bit.
It's so funny when you have the wrong tone but the right part, oh, it's terrible. Oh, it's so bad. And then you get the right tone, you're like, oh.
Yeah, this is great.
So you have to have, there's like a convergence of like multiple things have to come together for us to be like, let's chase this.
Yep.
You know, sometimes it's a lyric or like a mishmash mouth lyric is so often like a, whoa, that's cool. I like what came out there. That's the song.
Absolutely.
Yikes, that feels like some Gandhi shit you need to hit him with. Like, I mean, like, that's great. What I would say to answer that is, I feel like we've had a great relationship with Dwight, our producer, and I think he's the guy that first jumps into my head, and I'm trying to, like, get a piece of advice, but it's really hard to boil it down to just that. It's really, I think a lot of like the philosophical way that he approaches art is something that inspires us. Meaning that he kind of puts the art first in the process. And I think in this business, it's hard to always put the art first when there's so many financial opportunities to be gained to make sacrifices there. And so that all of his little nuggets of wisdom that have pulled us in the direction to allow us to be in this space right now where we just write whatever we want and we have full creative control of everything we do. We own our business. All of these things, like, that's the best advice has been like own your stuff. Don't know your value. Keep and like work hard. You know.
Know your value goes outside of music. I mean, know your value as a human being. I think mine probably came from my therapist because I was getting all these messages about people sharing like really deep, meaningful things, their struggles, and I early on felt like I had to somewhat be like a savior for those people because they're reaching out and I'm like, how do I help? But so many people reach out, you can't help every single person. So she told me the show is enough. Like, you can go play a show and give them all your energy and all the love you can, and that's enough. Like, if you leave the show and you don't get to talk to every person, that's fine. The show's enough. Like, I tell myself that pretty frequently because I just get in my head about just wanting to do more for people, and you just can't. It's just impossible.
Right.
Chop Suey by System of a Down. I will never forget the fucking moment I fell in love with that song. I heard it in 6th grade on Christmas Eve. The radio, I had left the radio station playing. It was 105.9 in Colorado Springs. And I woke up at like 2:30 a.m. and I heard, wake up! Wake up!
That's awesome.
And I, again, 6th grader, so I'm like, what is this? Like, I had never heard anything like it. I don't know if I've ever had an experience with music with like I did with that song. I will never forget that overwhelming feeling of, I need to hear this again. But then it was radio. There wasn't streaming yet, so you can't just go.
You longed for it.
Yeah, so it took me 3 months to figure out who sang the song, what was the song called. I was obsessed with it, man.
Yeah, that's a fun memory. I would say, referencing the moment that inspired me to be a songwriter is that Led Zeppelin 3 album, the second half, is basically this. I didn't live through it, but it seems like a vast departure for them. This heavy metal band, at the time they were considered heavy metal, but doing this acoustic, because the second half of that record's all acoustic, and that's the record that they wrote out in the forest together, whatever. That's the part of the stuff, and I still listen to that, and I think like, oh man, this band is so willing to do whatever for the art. They're diverse. They write not in one genre, and so that band, the way how diverse they are at that point in time, it hasn't really caught on. No other bands are like that because it's hard to do. You have to be great songwriters to be successful like that. So that inspires me because that's what we do a lot of, is writing in multiple genres, which makes it fun for us.
Yeah, keeps it interesting. For sure.
Myself and my wife love to garden and to have animals around. So we have.
They're good at it.
Yeah, so we have a huge garden in our backyard. We live in Austin, in the city, but have a pretty good sized little backyard, and we have a huge garden. We have 14 silky chickens, which are super tiny and cute and adorable.
Dinosaurs.
We've got a dog, we've got a rabbit, a cat, a bunch of koi fish, and honestly at this point we have a family of Texas toads living out in our pond as well. We've probably got like 20 of those. So lots of animals.
They're still waiting on the DMT toads to come around.
Yeah, none of those special ones
get
here.
here.
Yeah, I don't know if they just roam onto your property, man. That would be nice.
They'll get here. Mine that most people don't know, I just went to the barber, so you may not be able to see, but I have 2 colors of hair naturally. That's a birthmark, so it's like red on one side and brown on the other, or it's like real cheetah print normally when it's longer up here. But people growing up would ask me all the time, like, did you dye your hair? Or
Yeah,
what's
with the bad hair dye job?
Yeah, I used to be so self-conscious about it because I was like, shut the fuck up, like, just leave me alone. But now it's cool because I haven't met anybody
it's
else.
like instantly badass hairstyle no matter what. You know?
They used to call me Two-Tone back in the day. So
it's a great origin story, man. That feels like a superhero story.
Two-Tone?
Yeah. Back in the day, they used to call me Two-Tone, and now I'm rock star and it's badass. That's awesome.
But BMI, thank you so much. We honestly have loved just partnering with y'all over the years and allowing us to play LALALAA and just some really cool events. So thank you so much. Peace.